It's time for the Sports Desk with Mike, Mark, and Kyle. Stay tuned as we discuss what's happening in the world of local and national sports in Southeast Missouri and beyond. And welcome to the Sports Desk with Mike, Mark, and Kyle. I'm Mike Bueller, and I'll be joined in a little bit by Mark Sanders and Kyle Roberts. We got a lot to talk about in the National Football League because preseason football has gotten going, including my Tennessee Titans getting a nice win last night on the road against the San Francisco 49ers. But right now, we are joined by Poplar Bluff High School golfer Anna Bell. Anna, welcome to the show.
Hi. Thank you for letting me be here this week.
Cool deal. Me and your dad were visiting before the show, and you've had a pretty full summer. I'm going to let you tell me about that.
I have had a full summer, yet tournament to tournament. I've been just on the road, just traveling. It's been a great summer throughout the entire summer. It's just been amazing.
Where are some places you've been?
I've been North Carolina. I went to Oregon. That was a far
really nice
one. Yes, sir. Some in Missouri. Had one in Kansas, Texas, all over the place.
And I know you made it. I know there's one tournament you made the semifinals in. Tell me about that one.
That was in North Carolina, Durham. That was a great tournament. One of my best ones I've ever done. I just grinded. I played some really great golf. Last match wasn't my best, but I got beat, and I'm just excited that I got to play till the semifinals.
Cool deal. You're coming off a really good freshman year of high school. You won a state championship. You got SEMO Ball Freshman of the Year. You got SEMO Ball Girls Golfer of the Year. I know that's got to make you feel good. Tell me about that.
It feels really great. The Freshman of the Year was very unexpected, and I'm just so thankful and glad I got the opportunity to win that. Winning state was a great opportunity, and I just hope to have another great season like that.
Cool deal. And the funny thing is, you just got your summer schedule done, and you get back to Poplar Bluff just in time for fall practice to start. So it's like the never-ending story. What's that like?
It is very never-ending, but I like it. It keeps me just going in rhythm. Not taking any breaks. Sometimes there's some issues, but also it just keeps me kind of in flow. Like nothing really messes me up, I feel like, and just continuous golf. That's just how my life is, but I'm glad it's like that.
Cool deal. And, you got another high school season start. I mean, this is only, if I'm correct, your sophomore year of high school. You still got 3 more years of high school left, and you've already done these great things. How are you feeling coming into year number 2?
I'm feeling very good coming in this year. Just prepping. Summer was already just a great summer coming into this fall season, and I'm just excited to just be back with the team and just hopefully go back to state and do it again.
And you got a new coach this year. Justin Shell's taking the reins of the girls golf program. Justin's one of my old college classmates. What's it like playing for Shell?
It's great. I mean, he's a great coach. It's a bit different switching coaches, but I really like him. I already knew him before him coming to this coaching job, and he's a great guy, and I'm really happy to have him.
Cool deal. And, what are some things you're wanting to accomplish these next few years? Because I know that you just got you got a great future ahead of you. I really believe that.
I'm just hoping to get through these high school seasons, just do really well at state, win or not, just play some good golf, and just have some great summer seasons.
Tell me how you got into golf.
I have 4 older siblings who grew up playing golf, so I just grew up on the course. I started when I was 2, just on the golf course, just walking along with them. So I just grew into golf, just with playing with them, learning, all of the above.
Some people cut their teeth on a church pew. You've cut your teeth on a golf course. That's pretty impressive. I mean, wow. My gosh. Anna, you got anything else you'd like to
add? Not really. I'm just thankful to just be here and just to talk with you and just let everybody know just a little bit about me.
There you go, and that is Anna Bell here on the Sports Desk with Mike, Mark, and Kyle.
This is Three Rivers College women's basketball coach Alex Wiggs, and you are listening to the Sports Desk with Mike, Mark, and Kyle.
And welcome back to the Sports Desk with Mike, Mark, and Kyle. I'm Mike Bueller, and I'm excited to be joined right now by Three Rivers College Athletic Director and softball coach Jeff Null. Coach, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you very much, Mike. Appreciate you having us.
Excited to have you on, man. Leading off, you guys have had some good recruiting this summer in softball, and even before that. Tell me a little bit about who you've got coming in for next season.
Yeah, we're actually been recruiting on our 27 class, which are going to be seniors this coming year. So, it's that time of year. November 1's a signing day for seniors, and that's coming close. And with all this new rules with the NCAA and the 5 for 5, and we've been kind of slow playing it a little bit, waiting it to trickle down to the junior college level, and seeing how it's going to play out. And man, there's a lot of kids available right now. High school kids, man. There's a lot of high school kids still available. The 4-year schools are all waiting on the the transfers and the portal kids and other JUCO transfers. So 18, 19-year-olds, it's going to get tough for them for a few years here, and so the opportunities are going to get slimmer, and I think the JUCO route's going to become more popular.
That's right. And who have you got coming in here for the 26-27 season? Because you guys are going to be playing some fall ball starting pretty quick.
Yeah, pretty quick here in a few weeks. Coming in here, man, we returned quite a bit from last year. That's the big plus. We returned 3 pitchers. Returned the Region Player of the Year and Kylie Walker out of Southland and high school, and we're lucky to have her coming back. Very rarely you get to keep those kids for 2 years when they're Player of the Year. So she's back. That's going to be a big bat in the middle lineup. We returned starter from the year before last, and Shelby Bowling at first base, who's an all-region caliber kid. She'll be back for her 3rd year. She was missed last year due to injury, so that's a big plus coming back. We have big transfer in Rudy Dobbins from Neelyville, who attended McKendree last year. So another big bat right in the middle of the lineup. Lefty to go there. Had a nice transfer pitcher late here this summer from another JUCO to JUCO kid. She was at West Texas last year.
Oh, wow.
And they had a coaching change over there, and she got the portal, and hey, we gobbled her up, and so we're excited about what she's going to add to our staff. Like I said, we're returning 3 already, starting pitchers, so we're going to be loaded up. Got a lot more depth than last year, a lot more speed. A lot of excitement, man, going into this year. So we're ready to get going.
And when do you start fall ball? Tell me a little bit about your fall season.
Yeah, hey, we have an awesome best fall schedule I think I've had since we've been here. We start on September 10th. We're opening up home Shawnee. It's our only home date. So if you want to catch the Raiders this fall, come get a glimpse of them on September 10th. After that, we go straight to UT Martin. We got UT Martin early. So we only have a few weeks before we got to go, play the big school. So we're going to jump right into the fire. We cruise on through our schedule. We make a couple trips down in Arkansas. UCA has a big shootout we go down to. Jonesboro's having a big shootout we're going down to. We've also picked up Memphis, University of Missouri this fall. We're going up there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we got a University of Missouri on a Saturday, then we turn the next day, go over to William Woods in Fulton on Sunday, and that kind of concludes our fall. So, hey, we get to play some big dogs and see where we're at and see where we got to improve on.
And you said you've already been talking about class of 27 seniors.
Yes, sir.
What can you tell me about those?
Oh, man. We're off to a great start in that class. We got some nice local kids in that class. Just picked up one yesterday, Kenna Johnson out of Cape Notre Dame High School.
Ooh, that's nice.
Nice pitcher right there and a stick. So she's going to do big things here. Of course, her parents and her grandparents and her dad was a big Three Rivers Raider, Corey Johnson, an old Raider.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Guys, that's major legacy, y'all.
So we're keeping that in the family here. And then so she was a nice pickup. We just added this week, we added Addie Kirby from Elsinore, Missouri. We picked up a third baseman out of Plano, Texas, Amber Carrillo. Big stick, man. She's going to do big things here. I'm super excited about that one. She was a Class 6 Offensive Player of the Year as a freshman in their district. This year she was an all district player. Man, big time potential from her. So we're off to a great start in that class. We have several scholarships offered out, so we're kind of just in that waiting spot right now, waiting for kids to make decisions. But
switching gears a bit, you're also the AD at Three Rivers.
Yeah.
And I think one of the real positive things that's been happening, and I think it started happening even before you got here, but it has definitely continued on your watch these last 2 years, is so many Raiders and Lady Raiders getting NJCAA All-Academic honors. Tell me about that.
Well, I think that's a focus, and that comes from the top. Our administration, Dr. Payne, really preaches to us about, hey, I want to be excellent in all three areas, and those areas are on the field, in the classroom, and in the community. And I think we keep those focused on all our athletic programs. It's a great opportunity for kids to come play right away and get off to a good start academically. Poplar Bluff is a great community. We try to give back to it as much as possible. They do a lot for us. So, we really focus on those three areas. And I think when we do that, the winning kind of just tends to take care of itself. We have kids who are here for the right reasons. They're focused on their school. They're obviously athletic if they're playing here at Three Rivers right now. It's kind of a golden time, I think. We have 4 highly competitive sports right now, and
yes.
I would put all 4 of those up against anybody. So it's a great time to be here, and we're hopefully our coaches. I got to give them a lot of credit real fast. Coach Wiggs, Coach Kirby, Coach Palmer. I mean, they all bought in, and they all are pushing for the same things, and making the academics important to the student athlete. And I think last year we had three teams again that were academic all-team awards. The year before we had all 4. It's
wow.
just I think year in, year out, we're putting up numbers. Kids are it's kind of like a competition itself. It was going to have the highest GPA on campus, and I don't know. It's kind of a little fun, friendly competition amongst the coaches.
It really is, and I really like that. And that is Three Rivers College softball coach and athletic director Jeff Null here on the Sports Desk with Mike, Mark, and Kyle.
This is Three Rivers men's basketball coach Robert Kirby, and you are listening to the Sports Desk with Mike, Mark, and Kyle.
And welcome back to the Sports Desk with Mike, Mark, and Kyle. I'm Mike Bueller, and joining me now are
Mark Sanders
and Kyle Roberts.
And we are going to be talking about the National Football League because as of this Good Friday morning, we have got preseason games going on, and I'm going to lead off because my guys played last night, and we won a ball game out in San Francisco.
that didn't count,
Don't get used
but
to it.
still, congratulations. Congratulations on your third string beating San Francisco's third string.
And that's the whole point. Before I say anything about this game, the biggest thing is, guys, fans everywhere, this is preseason. This does not count. Nobody is throwing their hardest, bestest punches right now. So if somebody has a great, eye-poppingly amazing game, that's all right.
What, you mean like the demented Pittsburgh fans who were online this morning declaring Drew Aller the next franchise quarterback for the Steelers?
Steelers got a Super Bowl every year.
I mean, yeah, rookies look good in their first preseason game because they're playing the most simplified offense that is available to them against a defense who is just trying not to get hurt. And frankly, I saw what was the first game. Oh, it was Detroit and Cincinnati. Just a terrible preseason game. But Joe Burrow started, and he got sacked on one of the things. And the guy who sacked him from Detroit just set him down so gently. I mean, it was like setting down a tea set. I mean, you could tell they are not playing at full speed. So, yeah, anyone who wants to overreact to preseason results, it's like, God bless you, but you are not operating in objective reality right now.
I will say this with what you said about the Bengals. I saw a statistic last night that Cincinnati has spent less on their offensive line than any team in the NFL. And it still shows, even in preseason. Good Lord.
Yeah, it really does.
And on the other side of that, before I go into my thoughts on my guys, a bad game really doesn't mean that much. There are people that are melting down because, well, they had a bad night. Well, you know what? It's preseason. It's exhibition. It's like exhibition baseball games. down in Florida or out in Arizona during the spring.
It's practice. We're
Exactly.
talking about practice.
Thank you for that.
Exactly. Now that we've got that out of the way, I've got a couple of thoughts. Cam Ward played. He was 5 for 12, did not throw a pick, did not throw a touchdown. He could have looked better, but you know what? Again, it's preseason. The good news, Fernando Carmona, our rookie guard that we drafted out of Arkansas, I think he's a 5th-round pick. He's looking like he's going to be our starting right guard this year. For a 5th-round draft pick to be a starter as a rookie, that's good. That says that Mike Bergonzi and company have done a good job drafting this draft. Carnell Tate was targeted 2 or 3 times last night. Did not make a catch. That's disappointing. But you know what? Again, it's exhibition. We had some secondary guys that did not look good last night. Is that something to keep an eye on? Yes. But again, it's preseason. Joey Sly had a good night kicking last night, though earlier in practice he was looking awful. Again, it's preseason. None of this counts until we get on the field. The first official regular season game is September 9th. They're playing Wednesday night football this year.
Good Lord.
I hate that.
Ick.
No, I absolutely hate that. Thursday nights are bad enough, but having a game on a Wednesday, I mean, part of the mystique of the NFL, and Travis and Jason Kelsey talked about this at length, was that historically Sundays have always been reserved for football, and then of course you've got that marquee matchup on Monday night. And I know part of NFL marketing is like, we want to have a game, on television that we can sell ads for every night of the week.
I can live with that.
It dilutes the product. It really does. Thursday night games are mostly awful. There comes a point, and this message goes out to everyone in the United States right now. There comes a point at which enough money is just enough damn money. Okay,
Literally.
It's like, please stop. I mean, it would be like if Taylor Swift wanted to put out a new album every 3 months. It's like
it takes away from the uniqueness.
Absolutely. Swifties would love it at first, but then it would get to the point where it's like, this is just oversaturation. We don't have time to absorb this anymore. And we're seeing this with streaming entertainment too, where you see networks like Apple TV, who does one episode of their top flight shows, Ted Lasso, which is back, and it's wonderful again. Shrinking, Severance, you get one episode a week, and they know what they're doing because they build things. On the other hand, you have Netflix that just drops an entire season all at once. People binge it in a day or two, and then it's like a fast food meal. No one's talking about it. You can't even remember what you watched that quickly. We have to back off from this desire. We're to blame for it, but corporations are feeding it for constant entertainment and stimulation every moment of the life. To quote the kids today, go outside and touch grass, people.
Please do. Like that's a good tangent though, but you're not wrong. Too much of something, of one thing, is too much of anything. And Sundays, NFL, Saturdays, college football, Monday night is Monday Night Football. These things are set in stone. Not only that, now you got Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
That's doing the NFL. And from what I read this morning, I believe the AFC Championship game is going to be on Prime. You got to pay to watch that now?
Yeah.
That'll be something to look up. I'm done talking about my guys. Kyle, I'm going to let you talk about your Rams, and then we're going to let Mark finish it up talking about the Vikings because I know he's got something to say. So, Kyle, go.
All right, we start our preseason Saturday against the Chiefs, which, God, once upon a time, that's a marquee matchup. Especially back in the days where we had 2 Missouri teams, but nonetheless, I'm not expecting a lot from our guys. I expect Ty Simpson to play a lot. Maybe John Wolford as our third string, because let's keep Jimmy Garoppolo off the football field forever, please and thank you. I don't ask much.
What did Jimmy G ever do to you?
I have a professional male model. It's like having Derek Zoolander as a quarterback. So, no, I'm good. I just want to see how our new additions look. With really my concern with the Rams this year, besides the obvious, but for preseason, I just want to see because what our kids look like. We didn't have a whole lot of draft picks, typical, I know, blank them picks. But one kid I'm really interested in checking out is Keegan Trost, the tackle out of Missouri we took in the 5th round. He was, I believe, an honorable mention All-American for Mizzou last year. And outside of Lark Jackson, I do have concerns about our offensive line. So I just want to see how he holds up and how he looks on the field. Depth is obviously a big issue, but I want to see at least in a series or two how like Trent McDuffie will look integrating into our defense. And, obviously, Mr. Myles Garrett. But I don't have a ton of concerns. Really, for me, it's quarterback and the offensive line. I just want to see how we fit in new pieces and how everybody looks. I mean, come on, even Fernando Mendoza looked good last night at half speed.
Yeah,
so I said I'm not stressing. I know Mr. Sanders has continuously expressed not to make football gods mad because I've been a little bit overexcited this summer.
Well, I think you have reason to be overexcited. If there's anything that I would worry about in terms of the Rams, I would be worried about Puka Nakua's head, specifically his brain, and why is it functioning in such an apparently self-destructive way. Somebody in that locker room is going to have to intervene with that young man before it's too late, because you have to have him in your lineup. You take Puka out of the lineup, there is a giant hole that they are not capable of filling at this point.
I genuinely do have that concern. Number one, take his phone, no social media, period. Stay locked in on football, full stop, because we can't afford for you to mess around and be a dum-dum. We absolutely cannot afford it. This is an all-in year. Everybody knows this. And his rookie contract expires this year. The last thing you want to do is cost yourself the bag. And he is due to reset the wide receiver market the way that Chris Olave just recently did and Zay Flowers did for the Ravens. Do not mess up your bag, please.
Yeah, it's really concerning. Just from a general overall viewpoint. Of course, the news out of Eagan, Minnesota, location of the Vikings training camp, is that head coach Kevin O'Connell named Kyler Murray the Vikings starting quarterback to begin the season. This comes as a surprise to actually nobody. I mean, all of the signs were there from the very beginning that Kyler was going to be QB1. And I think some of the other things that have been observed at practice, the presence of former Miami offensive coordinator Frank Smith, who's known as a running game guru, running game genius, the fact that he was hired as assistant head coach and given free rein to redesign the run game, the emphasis on an outside zone run scheme, the drafting of Damon Claiborne, everything points to the fact that the Vikings are going to be, we'll wait and see, but putting a much stronger emphasis on their running game, something that fits a lot better with Kyler Murray's skill set, which is obviously his mobility, his accuracy, his ability to get rid of the ball very quickly. That is obviously J.J. McCarthy's biggest flaw, is that he just hangs on to the ball too much, as well as the inaccuracy. Pretty much the last thing I'll say about McCarthy until he's back in the news for a specific reason, whether it's playing for an injured Kyler or being traded off somewhere else. The Minnesota news media has picked up on something that I've been saying since last season, and they used almost these exact words. Kevin O'Connell hates J.J. McCarthy, can't stand him, can't stand coaching him, can't stand having him in the locker room. There is a personality conflict between these two that probably can't be resolved. And, maybe it's one of those things where, somebody interviews for a job really well, and then when they get in the job, they're not as good as you thought that they would be, and they're also kind of a jerk, or, just a clash of personalities there, and that certainly happens. It's a shame that they couldn't figure that out beforehand. But this also points to, I think, a crossroads for Kevin O'Connell is whether he's going to be able to adjust his offensive plan in a way that makes the best use of the player that he has at quarterback. Because obviously Kyler Murray is not, a big, tall, strong quarterback who can go in under center and stay in the pocket and hunt downfield. That quarterback is named Sam Darnold, and the Vikings let him walk away. So, you're not going to get that again. But if Kevin O'Connell really wants to succeed, and if he wants to win, and especially win in the playoffs, then this is the route that he's going to have to take. He's going to have to tailor his scheme to the players that he has, which is something that a good offensive coach does. I know that he is in love with his immensely complicated passing game, but if you look at even the 2 seasons where the Vikings had double-digit wins, they did not have a top 10 offense. They were not top 10 in any categories during their success. So I don't see that his scheme is really all that appealing. I think they're going to be much better off putting the emphasis on the run and the short pass and the yards after the catch, and hopefully open up some of those downfield throws to Jefferson and Addison, Juwan Jennings. And, the bright spot out of Vikings camp is that last year's third-round pick Ty Felton looks much improved from last year. Kick returner Miles Price, who is technically a wide receiver, has been getting involved in things. So the Vikings have amazing depth at wide receiver. But if O'Connell wants to revert just to running 11 personnel and asking Kyler to chuck the ball downfield, we're looking at a 6 or 7 win season that way. And I want to expand this out to something that I think is very, very wrong with the NFL right now, and I can directly blame 2 people for this: Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. And we're talking about 2 generational talents who reset everything that we think about a quarterback should be. And so when we think about who can we get to quarterback our team, we're looking for someone like these 2 players. And the problem is there's nobody else like those 2 players. It's not Josh Allen, who hasn't yet shown the ability to win the big game when the odds are against him. It may or may not be Joe Burrow, but he's stuck in a terrible organization that is not going to surround him with enough talent to get over the top. So I really think that Seattle has shown us the way, where you take a quarterback who has enough talent to do the things that he's good at, and a coaching staff that has the wherewithal to understand that there are some things that he can't do, that he shouldn't do, and then put the emphasis on other things. And it's not an accident. It's not an accident that we see the running game come back in. And, if I were the general manager of a pro football team, I would be looking at putting together an offensive system that relies at least 50% on the run, and one where you can basically plug in a B-plus quarterback to get the job done. Obviously, you want an A-plus quarterback because it's a cheat code, but there's a reason why it's called a cheat code, because there's just not that many players with that level of talent. And as much as it pains me to give credit to Sean Payton, look what he did with Bo Nix. No one thought that Bo Nix should have been drafted in the first round when he was. And, everyone said, well, Peyton's not going to be able to do much with Bo Nix. And yeah, he struggled in his first 8 weeks as a rookie, but then he kind of got it together. And what Peyton did with Nix is that he relied on all of his strengths, accuracy, quick release, mobility, and didn't ask him to do too much. Didn't tell him to go out there, and win the football game for us, And it was such a good system that, I think if it hadn't started snowing during the AFC title game, that Jared Stidham probably could have won that game for Denver, just running Peyton's system. So Peyton's not looking for a perfect quarterback. He's creating an offense that uses that quarterback strength. And then the last thing that I'll say, I'll close out this long rant, is when it comes to winning close games, and most games in the NFL are close games, you look at the number of one-score games or even 9 or 10-point differences. They're much bigger than the blowouts. So what you want in the fourth quarter when you're up by 8, 9, 10 points is you want to be able to run the ball. You want to be able to wear down opponents' defense. And you have to have a good offensive line and a good running game to do that. So, I think that we've been distracted for the past several years by the idea that we have to find the next Tom Brady. We have to find the next Patrick Mahomes. No, we don't. What we need to do is build the next 1985 Bears. A vicious defense with a competent offense that scores enough points and controls the ball well enough to win the game. End of rant.
And you're completely right. It's not feasible to expect Mahomes and Brady and like 1984 Marino from rookies. They've set the bar so unattainably high that that's what everyone expects if you're a top 5 quarterback or you're a first-round quarterback that's going to a team that expects you to start. You got to go out there and be Superman. No. Why do you think the Jets run through so many quarterbacks? Because you're constantly trying to ask them to, hey, bring us the world, bring us a ring, like Andrew Luck in Indianapolis. He was expected to be that guy. On top, for example, of being Peyton Manning's successor. Mm. You've got to continue the standard of excellence that we've had in Indianapolis and all of this. It's too much. And it's really skewed the perception of what a franchise quarterback should be. Another great example of how I think you manage a first-round quarterback really well, look at how Jeff Fisher took care of Steve McNair early on when he was drafted by Houston in 95. Yes, he was a top 5 pick. Did he immediately start? No. He didn't become really the full-time starter until 97. And they slowly expanded the offense as he grew and developed as a player. You don't just – that's a great example, and then we know what Steve became as a player. May he rest in peace. Bad examples, David Carr and Tim Couch.
Yeah.
Those guys deserve way better. You get first rule of an expansion team, your first pick had never ever be a quarterback because you don't have enough to give him and you're asking him to do too much too fast with no groceries to cook with.
Yeah, I would much rather, and he's a little bit on the old side for doing this now, but like think about Joe Flacco 5 years ago. He's the ideal person for an expansion team, a journeyman veteran who knows how to play the game. I would much rather have that with an expansion team. There's 2 ideas that probably will never get implemented, but I think that it would solve a lot of the problems that we have with rookie quarterbacks. Rule change number 1, if you draft a quarterback in the first round, his rookie contract can be 6 years long rather than 4 years with the 5th-year option. So you give him more time to develop. You can actually sit him on the sidelines for 2 or 3 years and still have 3 years of that rookie scale contract that you can take advantage of. That's the first change that I would make. You could make it 5 years with a 6-year option. That would be fine, because maybe some teams wouldn't want to get locked into that. The other thing, and I've mentioned this before, is make a separate quarterback salary cap designation different from the rest of your cap. So you have X cap for the 50. Well, actually, it covers the 51 of the 53 roster is covered by the league salary cap. The two lowest paid players on your team, on your 53-man roster, don't count toward your cap. So you've got one cap for 50 players on your roster, and then you have a second cap for your quarterback, which is you could make it a percentage of the overall cap. I would think right now in today's environment, your starting quarterback cap would be somewhere around $70 million, which is just ridiculous. But you know that players like Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes could command that salary if it was separate from the rest of the team's cap. And there's more than enough money in the league to handle this kind of salary structure. And that would enable teams, to keep quarterbacks longer that way.
I don't disagree there, because we should across the board have different pay scales for positions. Especially in today's NFL, the value of wide receivers has skyrocketed due to how the game is played and how receivers are used. So it's a whole lot different now than it would have been. Running backs, I know that the scale is coming back up for them, which is awesome. But at the same time, some teams aren't going to value the running back the same way another team would. So, for example, Baltimore is going to pay Derrick Henry more than, say, Carolina would pay Rico Dowdle, who's a good running back,
right?
But he doesn't command the market that a Derrick Henry would.
Well, the inflation among wide receivers is just ridiculous. Zay Flowers is making more than $30 million per season, and if he has 10 catches in one game, it's a spectacular performance. Now, I can't do the math to divide 30 million by 17 games and then divide that by 10. But, I mean, that is a lot of money to catch a football less than a dozen times over a 4-quarter period.
That's about $175,000, $180,000 catch.
Which is nonsense when you consider that a guy like a Zay Flowers is more like an RPO bubble screen type of receiver.
No, he's not a game changer. He's not a game changer. He's not somebody. Nobody goes in to play Baltimore and think, okay, well, we have to double Zay Flowers in every situation or he's going to kill us. No, it's ridiculous.
And also, that's something the Ravens would do, considering how, let's be honest, kind of whack their wide receiver history is. That's not the kind of team that you go in worried about their wide receivers. In the passing game, maybe it's their tight ends, but the Ravens overpaid him because the market said they had to keep him.
Right. And I'll tell you what, I'm gonna tell you this right now. It's a couple of weeks away from doing our preseason picks and positions, but I'll give you a little bit of preview. I think Baltimore is going to finish dead last in the AFC North, even behind Cleveland.
We're going to remember
their defense
Mark.
Scares them. Their lack of defense worries me.
Yeah.
I never thought I would say that about the Baltimore Ravens.
Well, new coach and a weird owner is a bad combination. I don't think it's going to be very good. Well, Mike, you got anything to add before we wrap up today's show?
Tune in next week. We are going to be doing a volleyball preview. I've already got to visit with advanced volleyball coach Erin Hoffman and some of her seniors, and hoping to visit with some other coaches in the next few days before our next show. So you definitely want to check that out. But on that note, I'm Mike Bueller.
I'm Mark Sanders.
And I'm Kyle Roberts.
And you have been listening to the Sports Desk with Mike, Mark, and Kyle.